What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone had a good weekend, relaxing, ready to smash this week, make some money, Jesus. All right, make sure I got the right mic. Hopefully I do. Let me know there, John. You're my official audio guy, so let me know that I got the right mic. Minky, thank you. It's for Movember. Normally I don't support this disgusting fucking... I don't got that sweet beard genetics, man, unfortunately. So, what we got to deal with. Sipping on that Remy Martin. My guy, I'm sipping on a nice glass of water. I believe this is 2020 vintage. All right, we got some people here, so let's just get into it. What's up, Gino, Scott, Zem, Alex? What's up? All right, so welcome back to another Ethereum and Chill stream. First one with the face cam with Trader Main. That's me. Going to be covering Ethereum primarily, but we'll cover some Bitcoin as well, and just kind of what I saw happen in the market over the past week, the weekly close, and maybe some potential setups going into the week here. So first off, obviously nothing in this video constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Big shout out to Prime XBT. Link and info in the description. Show them some love. They've been supporting me doing these streams for the past couple of months now. Really appreciate them hooking it up. So to kind of, show them some love back, please sign up at the link below. Use the description code, MAIN50, I believe it is, to get a 50% deposit bonus. And it's a great exchange. You can trade equities, you can trade commodities, you can obviously trade crypto. So check them out. You look like a wrestler. All right. Okay. Yeah, just started, Murray. I heard there was some LARPing going on, so I'm here to join. All right, Ryan, whatever that means. What up, Jack? How you doing, homie? 100x leverage, anything you say. That seems about right. Okay, so where are we at in the market and where are we going this coming week? So we'll start looking at Bitcoin, even though this is called Ethereum and Chill, just because looking at the chart itself, obviously this run is quite vertical, quite parabolic at this point. So, I mean, if you're looking at the Bitcoin chart, this is the weekly chart now. We've now officially closed 6 green weekly candles in a row. We've closed more than that in a row before. Like, I think here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On the run all-time high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming out of the bear market here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then maybe that was a red candle there. I don't know. Yeah, that's a red one right there. So, we've been here before. I'm not saying that this is unseen, never seen before price action when it comes to Bitcoin, but we are getting towards that kind of we are getting towards that kind of thin air area, in my opinion, in crypto, in Bitcoin. I am, as I've said on Twitter, I'm expecting some sort of sharp pullback soon. The question is, does that happen from here, or does that happen after one more leg higher? That's kind of, the $1 million question. Obviously, if we knew, trading would be a whole lot easier. I'm of the mindset though that sooner than later, definitely before the end of the year, I'm expecting some sort of 20+% pullback on Bitcoin, which is going to obviously consequently kind of wipe the floor across the market. Ethereum, your other majors, and most altcoins probably shit a brick. So let's take a look. Weekly chart, obviously, again looking extended, but doesn't mean it has to turn around here. A lot can happen on the weekly chart within a weekly candle. The main levels of interest for me on the weekly is, one of them is right here. So if we are able to reclaim this 16,200 level, which is just the top of this weekly supply, I think we might get one more push higher, and I would be looking at this weekly high as that next level of interest. So if we can get one more push higher, that is kind of my area of interest for another leg on price. Obviously, if we maintain under this level, I think we'll see some sort of sharper correction. I don't think there's really a ton of support built in here yet. So just looking at the weekly chart, we can fall quite far. And I think I posted this on Twitter, but falling from current prices down into what I would consider support here, which is all the way back sub 12K, at 11.8, that would be a 25% pullback. Completely possible in price. I mean, I think what's most exciting, and I sent a tweet out about this morning, and it was kind of a bullish tweet, so I'm surprised it didn't get 200 likes. Usually those, silly bullish ones with no tangible information are super good for the engagement. We can pull back really hard and we're still trading well above $10,000, right? So, if that doesn't make you stoked, you're underexposed to Bitcoin. I don't know what else to say. So weekly, I think I got nothing to complain about. If we are going to pull back from where we are now, this is the area that I'm looking to, like I said this in my last video, I'm looking to long anything in the gray here. If it comes, I'm not saying it comes, right? We could do this, we could go higher and then pull back less deep, more shallow. Lots can happen, but if we get an opportunity to get back into this gray, I think it would behoove you to potentially look at entering some low leverage longs or, laddering into some spot buys, because this is going to be one of those deep discounts that you get, when you see one of these types of pullbacks, where they're fast, and then within a few days, a few weeks, we've completely engulfed the move and gone a lot higher. So this is an area on the weekly that I'm watching. The question is, are we going to go there now, or are we going to have one more push up first? So zooming in on the daily here, we've come right into that top level of that weekly order block, that weekly supply, and we're seeing our first kind of swing high. Obviously, we had, there's no swing high in here really of interest to me. We had one here, and consequently, we got a little pullback. Again, completely engulfed it almost immediately. But we're kind of forming a potential swing high here. So to me, if I'm looking at this as a swing high, what I want to now find is say, okay, well, where is the level where I would flip my bias and be like, okay, this is now a high that's locked in, and then are we potentially going to be putting in, some sort of, low and then potentially short a lower high, right? So I'm going to zoom in one more level here. Looking at the H4, this would be kind of a level of interest for me right here. Okay, so this is the swing low that led to this swing high. Okay, so the swing low is denoted by being a low with a candle that has a higher level, a higher price point on either side of it, right? So this is a swing low, this is a swing low, this is not a swing low, right? This is a swing low, this is a swing low, this is a swing low. So hopefully that makes sense. This would be a swing high, it'd just be the vice versa, right? So it's a low, right? And the candles on either side of it are higher. That would be what I classify as a swing low. Flip that image upside down for a swing high. So this swing low led to this leg up to create this high, right? So this is my level of interest personally to get kind of bearish towards, you know, a much lower target. And I'm not saying that we're going back to, you know, 3K or anything like that. I just mean if we want to open the doors to that larger correction, it's going to lose this swing low first. You know, and if this is the kind of price something that we get, then I'm looking to sell retraces, right, going into lower. But for now, we are holding above support, so I'm not necessarily, you know, rushing to short this thing or anything like that. I'm going to wait for more price action to develop. We are, if you look at the H12 here, we do have a nice order block here that we're sitting on top of, right? This little consolidation before this move up. So as long as we're holding above here, this to me seems to be the draw on price, 17.4. So that's kind of what I'm watching for on Bitcoin. So what I want to see on the dollar this week, and this is something I talked about on my Metals with Mainstream from Friday, is I am expecting further weakness on the dollar. So if we get further weakness on the dollar this week, I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin to put in one more leg to the upside. And again, that leg to the upside, after that next push, then I'm expecting, you know, a larger correction. If we pull back from here, right? So let's just say we start this week like this. If we lose this low, right, I'm looking to sell retraces down towards about 13.8. 13.8 is the open, or no, it's the close of that weekly supply, and it also is confluent with this untested order block here. So those are going to be the two kind of scenarios, and we're going to operate on an if this, then that basis, right? So if we show weakness in price and we lose this 1460 handle, 15,460, excuse me, or 15,450 if you want to make it a 50 level, I would be looking to sell pullbacks on that if you're not short already from, you know, way up here shorting this area. Okay. Alternatively, if we reclaim this level here, which is confluent with this little order block here, I'm looking to get long on either a breakout setup or some sort of pullback targeting here. So again, if this, then that. And I know it's, oh, it could go up or down, fuck you, whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't actually care. This is my plan, right? So what I'm giving you are areas of price to focus on. And then you guys know how I roll. I've gone over so many different times in these streams exactly how I get into trades. From a breakout trade, from a coming into a key level trade, I'm not going to be entering this trade on the H4, right? I'm going to be likely entering it on the hourly or something like that, right? So if we're getting a breakout above here, I'm going to be looking for one of those setups that I've covered, you know, kind of countless times, you know, in my streams where you get that low there, then we reclaim. That would be one setup, or whatever it's going to look like. I've gone over these so many times. So those are kind of my key levels, key areas of interest for bias. I think if we start trading back above this kind of 16,250 handle, whatever you want to call it here in this gray zone, I'm going to be looking for breakout longs here, and then I'm absolutely going to be looking for correction after that to potentially just take off some spot exposure, to hedge, to short, whatever you want to do. If we break this structural low here, right, then I'm expecting a larger sell-off, and I'm targeting kind of that 13. Where'd that level go? I'm targeting that 13, you know, 800 area, which would be down here. Okay? So pretty cut and dry, clean. To me, you don't need to spend, you know, hours and hours and hours staring at the chart to figure this shit out, right? What you need to do is find your key levels that you're interested in doing business at, and then wait for price to interact with those levels. What does that mean? It means I'm doing nothing right now. This is nothing to me, right? I'm not doing anything. If we trade above here, I'm starting to look for longs. And the reason I'm not just longing this right here, because this is a valid H12 block. This is completely valid to long right here as is. Like if you were like, hey, I'm waiting for this to get retested and I'm gonna long this because we could launch from right here. You know, you could have, okay, you enter right at the edge, let's say. So you're in, You put your stop maybe below this swing low, let's say, just give it a little bit of breathing room, and you're targeting that 17,400 handle. There's a 2-to-1 R there, okay? Pretty loose stop, but to me, this is a very extended move at this point. I mean, if I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to think that this is extended. So for a long, I want price to show me bullish PA above a key area for me to want to continue to pile on long. I think just longing every dip works for sure. But when you start getting thin, you start getting up towards the top of a parabolic move, like eventually you're going to get ripped on one of those. So why not wait for just a little bit more confirmation is kind of my thoughts. So that is a potential setup here. You could just be long right now. I mean, you could see this, right? We've swept that low now. You know, you could be long right now. We're within that H12 supply. We've swept the low within there. You know, we're holding it. You could be getting bullish here. You could be getting bullish on a break above this level here, like a more low time frame kind of entry. Just saying, okay, if we get above here, right, I'm going stop here and I'm long, right? But personally, I'm just going to kind of wait it out, see what happens. When you're exposed to Bitcoin like I am, and I own a bunch of Bitcoin, if it goes to 17.44 here, I'm stoked. I don't need to long it right now. But very valid, bull thesis there. This is kind of my bias point for flipping bear. I did post a chart on Twitter last week, I believe, and I also updated it right before this video. Basically, we were coming in. I said, I think we top soon. I want to see us break H1 market structure first, right? And that was here. So the exact same shit I just showed you on the H4, this is the H1 swing low, right? That took us to that ultimate swing high. So this is a little bit, your market structure, and I've talked about this in the past, it's going to shift on the lower time frame first, right? So H4 market structure still intact. H1 market structure has actually flipped bearish. It doesn't mean we can't just do this, right? The high time frame takes precedent because there's going to be downtrends on the low time frame within a high time frame uptrend, right? Within a weekly green candle, there's going to be 1 hour downtrends, right? And uptrends and downtrends. So on the hourly chart, right? So the exact same logic I just gave you on the H4, right? We're already in a downtrend here. We have made a higher low here. Okay, on the H1. So if we come and break above this high, now H1 market structure shifted back bullish, get bullish again, right? And that also happens to be confluent essentially with that 16,220 level that I gave you anyways, right? So you could flip bullish on a break of this high if you want. But to me, looking at the H1, if this was my trigger time frame, to me, this is broken market structure. This is going to be a counter trend short. Obviously, the preceding trend is super bullish, right? But what I would be looking at as a potential short is something like this, right? Pull back into here, stop above the high, right? And then you could short this for another move down. So H1 market structure slip bearish. Doesn't mean that we're going to fucking 6K, but you could get a nice little short in here with pretty tight risk reward. And then ultimately, if we lose that, that 460 level, which is the H4 swing level, I'm going to be looking for some sort of H4 similar setup, right? So if we come and lose, where'd it go? Here, right? So let's say we just sell off hard here. And this is the bearish order block that causes that sell-off, right? Well, I'm going to be looking for that exact same type of setup right into that H4 order block, right, to short into. I'm not going to short just the breakdown, let the market structure break, then sell a retest, right, or a retracement, excuse me. All right, does that make sense for everyone in terms of my kind of outlook and plan on Bitcoin? Still leaning bull as long as we're holding above this area, still leaning bull. My next upside target would be 17.4, but I've given you the plan of attack if we do, in fact, switch to wanting to get short or just expecting some sort of pullback, how you can get involved. How am I doing? Depends on how high your targets are. Is 17.4 high enough for you, brother? How long have I been trading? Since 2013. Do you think alts can have a 2017-18 run if BTC has one more leg up? So generally, when alts run, BTC is usually going to be weaker, right? Because alts are all traded against BTC. I do think the dynamics of the market are changing with the different ways people can get involved in alts. With DeFi, with different exchanges and derivatives and things like that. I do think alts will run again. You want to watch that BTC dominance chart, right? So if that BTC dominance chart starts ripping upwards, alts are likely going to continue to sell off. So, do I think there will be another alt season? Yeah. But I mean, to me right now, the thing to pay attention to is Bitcoin. It's not to random shitty alts. Just came here to say hi. It's 2 a.m. where I live. All right, Loren to you. Hello to you. This will stay up on YouTube, so you can watch it tomorrow when it's a more reasonable time. Can I take my shirt off? Absolutely not. It's bulking season, bro. I'm like 220 pounds right now. I'm not taking my shirt off. I'll take my shirt off once I finish cutting and I get down to like 190. Hopefully by summer of next year. We'll see. I really like eating right now. It's fun. What is an order block? This is an order block. Go watch some of my old videos. Join my Discord. I cover all of this shit ad nauseum in previous videos in my Discord. If you want to know about that kind of stuff, and look up ICT. That's where I learned it from. Can you explain your plan like you would to a 5-year-old? Sure. Above here, number go up. Below here, number go down. Okay, now it's time for juice. If looking at a low time frame OB, do you wait for the low time frame candle to close, then make the plan or not? Because sometimes the candle just rips when it closes and no more setup left to look at. Yeah, I mean you gotta wait for the candle closure, right? It's not an order block. The market structure shift is not legit until the candle is closed, right? Because it can look like it's gonna, you can have a bearish looking candle that ends up closing, as a little doji. So yes, definitely let the candle close. Jonathan, where can I find your videos on entry? Go watch some of my older Ethereum and chill streams and my metals with mainstream. I don't know which ones in specific. Watch the last 4 or 5 to pump up my YouTube statistics, and I've covered them a bunch. Just go watch a few, maybe not the last one, but like 2 or 3 videos ago, just watch a few of them, only 30 minutes. I go over that shit a lot. Please take your shirt off. Mitch, you are fucking wild, buddy. How many drinks have you had today? Taking small risk for the new week. Still got to see how Monday plays out, right? Fake weekend volume, maybe. Absolutely. I mean, generally, I'm not entering trades that often on a Sunday. If you are a student of ICT, like I am, you'll know that I generally like to try and see if the low of the week or the high of the week is going to form on Monday, Tuesday, maybe sometimes Wednesday. And then I want to get involved with the trend for the rest of the week. So yeah, I'm not going into anything huge on a Sunday night or anything like that. I got to see what Monday looks like. Absolutely, that's usually how I do. Hi, Janae Brown. Yo, Maine, do you recommend using Bybit? This stream is sponsored by Prime XBT. I recommend that you use Prime XBT. Do you use any indicators? No, I do not use any indicators. There are some great indicators out there. I know some people who are killer with indicators, RSI, that kind of shit. Just personally, not something that I use. I'm more of a price action trader. Sorry, my girlfriend's texting me here. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. You're welcome. I don't know. You can print money longing shitty alts like sushi right now. Absolutely. My question to you, when it comes to shitty alts, so I'm not a great altcoin trader. So let me preface what I'm about to say with that. Okay. Yes, you can print money, but does this chart look like it goes down or up more? Right? To me, you're way more likely to get caught in this bullshit than you are to actually get that long here and ride this, right? Because let's say you bought sushi back here. You're not even at break even yet. You bought sushi just 2 months ago. You're not even close to break even yet. So any alt that looks like this, I'm usually hesitant of. But sure, print money if you can. If you're getting in and catching these pumps, absolutely take profit at resistance. Another question you got to ask yourself is what kind of size are you trading? So maybe this runs 200%. What did you get in there? Did you get 5 Bitcoins in? That's sick. Or did you get 0.1 in? Right? So that's another thing you got to consider. When I'm looking at a coin like this, right? Very clear coming back into this low, right? So this was previous floor. Now it's resistance, right? This would have been a key area for me that we just obviously blasted right through. But if you're wondering how you get involved in something like this, right? I'm looking here. I'm saying, okay, this is your kind of key market structure, SR flip, right? So you had this low. I'm gonna make it even better. You had this low here. We broke below. Once we're back above that low, start looking for longs on it, sure. But this is just, I only have so many hours in the day to follow certain things. I ain't got time to follow every fucking altcoin out there. I just don't. It's not my edge, right? That's not my edge. But once it got above that low, right, look to long bullish market structure. Then yeah, this is trending. What do you do once it's broken high time frame market structure? Now you're on the low time frame. You're just looking for getting long with the trend. So that's longing pullbacks into bullish order blocks. So I wouldn't call it printing money, but sure, if you got into that and you printed some money, fucking sick. You drink a lot of water, brother. Very nice habit. Thanks, bro. It's something I'm working on. One of my goals for 2020 was working out like crazy and staying hydrated. Ethereum is definitely considered an altcoin. I would say it's a very good proxy for the altcoin market as a whole, right? If DeFi coins are pumping, they need Ethereum to be bullish, in my opinion, right? So Ethereum is probably the most important altcoin. And again, but it tracks very closely to Bitcoin, right? And as always, right, most of these altcoins are traded against Bitcoin. So unless that altcoin BTC chart is in an uptrend, you're probably better off holding Bitcoin. Always remember that. What the fuck was that noise? Okay. What do we think about AV and Curve? I'll go over those after I cover Ethereum. This is called Ethereum and Chill, and I haven't even talked about it yet. Will you be holding spot BTC throughout this play, presuming you're only talking about leverage here with the setup? Yeah, that is a setup to take with margin, right? Or however you want it. But yeah, I own spot Bitcoin. I've been selling spot Bitcoin ever since we started trading above 14K. I've started scaling out. Sold some at 14K, 15K. I sold some at 16K. If we go to 17K, I'll sell more. And then if we get a correction, I'm gonna buy back. So yeah, I'm still holding spot Bitcoin. Are there any market structure fractals that show you an OTE retrace more often than GZ retrace? What does GZ retrace mean? Prime XBT require KYC. I'm in the US. I don't know if it's available for US customers. I don't know if you should use a VPN to circumvent that. I don't really know, my friend. Get what I'm saying? About 0.5. Yeah, so I mean there, yeah, sick. You get in half a Bitcoin, you 2x it, that's awesome. FBTC, yeah, we'll cover that. Did I completely give up weed? Yeah, I haven't smoked weed in a year. The last time I smoked weed was December 31st, 2019. Okay, so let's cover Ethereum here. So much like Bitcoin, right, we have Ethereum coming into some key resistance here on the weekly. Okay. And what I'll do here is the same old shit. Okay, so those are my key levels of interest based on the weekly. Just looking at the weekly as well, I really like this level here, this 430 level. So let's just dial it in a little bit further here, see what we're looking at. About to sneeze. It went away. All right. Looking at Ethereum, so we've come up into that weekly supply, rejected pretty hard, but now we're right back up. So the biggest fear for Ethereum right now is that we have some sort of double top here, right? That would be bearish. We definitely don't want to see a double top form here, because then I think we'll get actually a pretty strong retracement. But looking at Ethereum on the daily, I want to look a little lower. Yeah, so I'm looking for, if BTC pulls back, right? I'm looking to trade a breakdown, potentially into here. Right? So this would be, to me, if Bitcoin breaks that 15.4 level, this would be the play I'm looking for on Ethereum, back into kind of the 400 area. Alternatively, to me, it's very clear on the daily chart that Ethereum needs to regain this level. Okay? If Ethereum regains this level, the party continues. Okay? If it does not, right, if this rejects and we just start trading down, this is going to be a key retest, right? Because if we reject, I think we go much lower. But I think if we start trading back above that 470 level, I think we're going to see the party go on. And if I'm looking at Ethereum high time frame, my next area of interest beyond 470 is $100 higher. So that would be a big move. So interesting area here for Ethereum. Again, I'm going to want to see what we do in terms of this area here that we're coming into. We've formed a bearish order block here in high time frame resistance, right? So I don't want to see price really lose this little cluster of demand here. I don't really want to see price lose. Did that run the high? What's the high there? 477.27, 476.86. So that's actually the high. I mean, low time frame, we've broken a low, right? I don't know if this is just super bearish yet, but if we're gonna look at, you want to do your little trend line, you want to be a little trend line guy. We've broken this little mini trend here, and some sort of pullback into here, could cause a sell-off, right? So really, I'm not longing this right here. I think you could justify a long here. Similar to Bitcoin, you could justify a long here. Not for me personally. I would rather see us get back above here and ultimately back above here to get bullish on Ethereum, because to me there's lots of upside, right? The downside is pretty big. Once we get below this level, there's some pretty big downside here available. But the upside to me above 470 is $100 higher. So if I can wait for confirmation here, and get long and know that this is now the low for sure, and we start trading above here, my stop, so I'm just gonna make this nice and clean. Let's say I get in, let's say we reclaim 470, right? And that ends up being the low. I'm getting in on confirmation, right? And I have a very easy 3-to-1 trade with a very wide stop. You're obviously going to be able to get in on a tighter stop on the low time frame, refining that down, but this would be loose as fuck, right? So if we just see something like this, right? You could get long here. Ultimately, you wait for the 470 reclaim, right? And then maybe a tighter stop is below this low here. But this would be a super wide stop, and you're still getting a 3-to-1, 3 times your risk. To me, that's pretty good. I have no problem waiting for that kind of confirmation. But similar to Bitcoin, we're kind of in an indecisive area. I wouldn't personally enter a position right here. I'm going to be waiting to kind of see what happens early in the week. If we start trading below here, I think we're going to go test this 430 level. And you better hope that this 430 level, right? You better hope that this area holds, right? Because if we lose this area, it's going to drop hard, right? And on the flip side, if we start trading above 470, I'll be looking to get long for another $100 higher, and the party continues. Bitcoin goes to 17K, and everyone's happy. Golden zone. So the golden zone to me is the OTE. That's the same thing, right? This is the golden zone. Or that's I call it the OTE. I've never used the term golden zone, but my understanding is they're the same thing. Join the Discord, guys. Very educational and lots of like-minded people. Absolutely. Join the Discord. I did a video on sometime last week. There's a link in the description of that video if you want to come hang out in the Discord. I have tons of old educational content in there. There's a lot of really nice, great price action-minded trading people. Just awesome group of people in there. It's completely free. Come in, hang out. You can tag me, ask me questions, things like that. I'm going to be doing my best to spend some more time in there going forward. But yeah, come hang out in the Discord 100% with me and the boy Wasik. Have you considered trying out a diet, you fat bastard? How dare you, sir? How dare you? I'm gaining weight on purpose. I'm doing this on purpose. I've been going to the gym, bulking, trying to put on weight. I'm 6'2", and about a year and a half ago, I weighed 165 pounds. So one of my goals was to get fit and get in the gym. And yes, I mean, I've been on purpose, trying to gain this weight. So I put on about 60 pounds in the last year or so on purpose, doing deadlifts, squats, bench press, overhead press, trying to get big. So the diet will come, but not yet. I'm not done bulking yet. I think I can get bigger. You fat bastard. That's hilarious. Hi, bye. Dear my 83 subs, please unsubscribe. Okay, bro. Hi, Juju Paz. Bara Online Quran Academy. Okay. I'm currently studying computer science. I have 20K to grow. Is there an opportunity in the space of building auto trading crypto bots? I am not a coder by any means, but there are a ton of very smart programmers and coders in the space who have coded their own trading bots. Look at what Gainsey has done, for example, with his Gainsey bot. There's tons in the space. Bagsy has a bot. BTC Jack Sparrow has a bot. Altcoin Psycho has a bot. So absolutely, there's a space. I don't understand it enough to tell you what to do, how to tackle it. There's a lot of very smart people out there that you could probably reach out to, who can probably give you some advice in terms of, I don't even know what language you would use. I don't even understand any of that shit. So I'm the wrong person to ask for that. Yeah, I just mash buttons and try and make money. Leaning BTC rip soon. I think if we were to get a bigger drop, it would have been over the weekend. Yeah, definitely possible, right? So we could have absolutely, seen the low. This could have been it. This could have been the dip to buy. But again, I think my bias levels are pretty clear here. When you do what I've done here, I just took this chart. There was no lines on this chart when I started the stream. Now we've got two very specific scenarios and a plan on what to do when either of those two scenarios play out. And now you chill, right? Trading is as stressful as you make it. Like if you're fucking sitting there and you don't have a plan, right? And then you get in a trade and price starts going against you. If you don't have a plan, like that's stressful as fuck. That's anxiety. I've been there. I don't want to do that anymore, right? When you have a plan, you know where you're right, you know where you're wrong, you know what you're looking for. It's not nearly as stressful. I'm not saying it's not stressful at all. No one likes having a big red number on their screen or any of that shit, right? But it's way less stressful when you have a plan. So absolutely have a plan in advance. Spend your Sunday going through the charts, marking them up and saying, okay, what am I doing here? What am I doing if we get to this level? What am I getting long? Am I getting short? Where's my stop going? And your trading's going to improve in leaps and bounds. Thanks for the video, man. You're welcome. Simp22. Yeah, fucking simp. Thick boy. You fucking bet your ass. ETH still has 2x the gains to all-time high. Do you have targets for where the price range can go in this bull run? No. I mean, I'm not like I'm not BTC Jack Sparrow. I'm not some sort of crystal ball soothsayer being like, hey, based on this last run, I think Bitcoin can go or Ethereum can go here. I mean, if the only way I know how to start doing price targets beyond all-time high, I guess, is like fib extensions. So the 1 point, the 100, the symmetrical price swing would be to 2,800. The 200% price swing, right? So two standard deviations of the last bull run higher would be over $4,000, right? And if you want to put on, this is what I should do, right? So I can get more views on YouTube. I should just start talking about insanely bullish targets and make a thumbnail that's just like, at the 4,000, whoa. And then I'll be famous on YouTube. That would be fun. I know a one that people like is the negative 1.618, right? That would be $3,700. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna go high for sure. It's gonna go higher, right? So I mean, and exactly, right? Bitcoin to all-time high is only $5,000 higher. Ethereum to all-time high is like a 3x from here. So keep that in mind when you're allocating your portfolio. Obviously, that potential greater upside also works in the reverse in terms of downside. Bitcoin going from 15,000 to 12,000 versus ETH going from 400 to 300 is a different percent drop. So is this guy taking off his shirt or what? Here's the deal. After I get absolutely shreddy Van Halen, after I do my cut, this is my first time bulking, really getting involved in the gym. I'm 30. It took me a little while to catch on. I was like a skinny douchebag who wore like a shoelace as a belt and skateboarded and wore skinny jeans and shit. And none of my pants fit anymore. That's besides the point. Once I'm done bulking and I cut and I'm fucking shreddy Eddie Van Halen, Shredward Scissorhands, Shredward Norton, I will Shredward Edison. No, that doesn't even work. Thomas Shredderson, maybe that works. I will take my shirt off on stream once I'm absolutely just fucking ripped up. So you're either gonna see me shirtless or I just never did it. Never got ripped up because I like fucking eating ice cream and shit. Okay, gotcha. How long did it take you to learn all this shit? I've been trading since 2013. I lost money probably pretty consistently, and I still lose money sometimes. I lost money pretty consistently until 2015. Then things started clicking a little bit. I started, kind of having an idea of what I was doing. And then 2016, I was pretty consistently profitable, trading mostly Forex at the time, not even trading Bitcoin. And then 2017, and then since then, I have a strategy, I have an edge, I know what works for me. I don't win 80% of my trades, but I make money trading because I focus on asymmetric risk reward. My win rate is, somewhere in the 40s. So, combine those two things, aiming for 2-to-1s, 3-to-1s, you're going to make money. So yeah, it takes time, man. There's no get rich quick. Anyone who's like, I can teach you how to trade in a week, I can teach you how to, figure this out, those people are all lying to you. Trading is really fucking hard. It is really fucking hard. Every day, what a weird place for a pause. If you want to make this a career, right? Every day, you're going in, risking money to make your living. Right? There's not many other jobs other than professional gambling or sports betting and shit where that's the case. Obviously, with a regular job, you're trading time for money, right? But you at least have some guaranteed income, right? Even in sales where you have commission and shit, right? There's variable, but you have some guaranteed income. You're like, if I come into work for 8 hours, I'm going to make this much money. Yes, you're trading time for money, but you have that security, right? That's why trading can potentially offer such an amazing, financial reward. But every day that you go in, right, you got to pay the market, right, to play. You got to pay to play. And there's a risk every day that you lose money, you don't make any money, and you got to put up your capital to have a chance to even get involved, right? So there's no guarantees. It's fucking hard. But when it starts clicking, it's an amazing feeling. And one thing I always, tell people in these videos, is I don't want to. I don't like when people are like, it's the whole, teach someone to fish versus, giving them a fish, right? Like, I can give you trades and shit, and I post trades and I post setups, I talk about setups, but at the end of the day, if I show you how to mark up the chart yourself, and then you mark a level and price gets there and it reacts exactly how you expected, that's a way better feeling and a way better learning experience than anything I can do for you or anyone can do for you. When you see it happen in your own chart and you're like, hey, I think price goes here and I think this happens. And then it does, it's awesome. Almost as good as making money, not quite. FBTC, okay, we'll do FBTC. Think it just out high the week, below the weekly open, now logical pullback for the top of the weekly OB. Yes, well, we don't need that. We need realistic talks and explanation. I'm bullish on all-time high clickbait titles. Yes, Brian. I'm gonna, that guy with the long blonde hair, who every one of his thumbnails, I'll just start doing those. Maybe that will blow this YouTube thing up. Getting swole, you fucking bet your ass. What's your background in, or has trading been your career all along? I have an accounting degree. I was going to be an accountant. I have my CPA. That's a professional accounting designation. So no, trading was never the game plan initially. What's the longest period of drawdown in the past few years? How many trades do you take on average a month? It is hard for sure. Gosh. I don't think I'll ever, I don't want to say that. It's hard to say because back in 2013, 2014, I had a lot of fucking Bitcoin and I don't have as much now, right? It's worth more now. My portfolio value is much higher than it was in 2013, 14. But if I just had all the Bitcoin I had back then, now, yeah, I would have a lot more money. And I have a good sized portfolio, I would have way more. So I don't know. Am I always forever in drawdown then? I don't know if you can say that. I'm down in BTC since 2014, but I'm up in USD. Gosh, I don't know. I've had down swings. I had a month last year where I traded like garbage and I lost like 80 to 90% of the trades I took for the entire month. And yeah, that was really tough. So, I've had down swings, I've had down weeks, I've had down months. I've never had a down year since 2015. 2016, 17, 18, 19, 2020 have all been up years in trading. So that's good, right? How many trades do I take on average a month? I don't know. It depends on the market condition, right? When we're doing this, right? When we're doing this versus when we're doing this, right? I'm taking a different amount of trades. But I trade a lot of Forex. I trade a lot of gold. I trade a lot of silver. I trade a lot of, so those are commodities. I trade a lot of EU, UCAD. I trade equities. I trade the S&P. So a lot more trades than what I talk about on Twitter, specifically when it comes to crypto. Do you trade U.S. securities as well? Yeah, I trade the S&P and the NASDAQ for sure. So I trade those. What else? I trade the DAX. That's the German one. Not really so much like the Nikkei, but yeah, like to trade the ES and I like to trade the NASDAQ, the NQ. All right, let's look at Ethereum BTC. So I keep this chart open, and the reason being is I drew this chart in April, and I suggest you go back and you watch the very first Ethereum and Chill stream with Maine. It was somewhere around here, and I said overall I think this is what's going to happen on Ethereum. I think Ethereum BTC. I think we're going to come back, retest this consolidation, then move away. And it took weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, but we finally traded our way down here. So leaving this up for prosperity, even though the drawing is so shitty, because if it does this, I'm going to retweet it and I'm going to get all of the clout possible on the internet. Looking at it here, okay, on the weekly, basically what I'd seen, right, is we'd come up here, okay, and we'd retested this area. Fuck you, Siri, you stupid bitch. Sorry, that was rude. This is not for children, this stream, obviously. I just got demonetized. So we came up and we tested here, and then we had this crazy swing failure pattern, right? So as soon as we closed this Darth Maul weekly candle, I was bearish, right? So we come into weekly supply. The bullish thing about it, potentially going in, was this was already tested once. A second test, might not last. Third test, I think, is the one that gives, and then we're going to trade up into this area, okay? That's this level over here. So third test, we're going to break through this gray zone. But we reject it again, and pretty easy to be bearish. Once you see a weekly candle close like that, right, you now flip your bias. And basically what I said is, okay, well, where's the next area of interest for me on this? And it was back into this high. So we traded back into this high. We've now put a nice long lower wick in here. So if I'm looking at the weekly chart here, there's a couple areas of interest for me. This to me is now the key range. So if I don't expect this gray to hold again, like I think we could come up and then pull back, but I expect the next test of this gray to be the last one. I expect the rejection to be shallow, and then I expect continuation right above up into there. Okay? So this is my range of interest on Ethereum BTC, is these two levels here. So what I want to see now, are we going to take another stab lower, right? Or is this the bottom of the range and we're going to hold, and that actually ultimately becomes the low? So this is an area of interest to watch, is this swing low. Because if we look here, we do have an untested level right there. So we could see a sweep of this low. If we sweep this low here and then regain this level and then ultimately regain this range low, I'm uber bullish, going balls deep long on ETH. Super, super bull. Right? And then ultimately hedge a bit at the top of the range. Expect that any sort of move into the gray, I don't think we just chad through it. I think it's more likely that we do this, come back, retest the range high, and then see continuation, maybe another retest. Excuse me. Okay? But this is the kind of thing I'm watching on the low of the range here. Is the low in, or are we going to get one more move to the downside? That's going to be the thing you want to pay attention to. But ultimately, there's some lower time frame levels of interest here that we want to watch. So the question is, are we done? Is the low in, or are we going to rip this low? If we rip this low, right, as soon as we regain it, you get bullish. As soon as we regain this, you get bullish. Targeting here, ultimately targeting the range high. So this is my area of interest. This is my area to start being bullish on ETH. Looking just at the weekly. I don't even need to zoom in any more than that. Down in this area, big time bull. A reclaim of this area, big time bull. Right? Because there is a chance that this is a bearish order block here. Okay? So we could see this. Right? And then if we take out this low, well, what does this now become? This comes a potential breaker. So if we now trade back above here, fucking long the shit out of this, okay? But I'm getting bullish on ETH down here, right? So ultimately, we could see one more stab lower, but anything in here, I'm longing, and a reclaim of this, I'm longing for sure, for sure. I can zoom in more. I don't really think it's necessary. I'm not really day trading this pair specifically. If you were day trading this pair, this is the only potential setup that is kind of screaming to me right now. Could potentially see, if we're going to see more downside, something like this. Okay, that's all I can see. Run this high into that order block, one more leg down. But again, we're very close to the bottom of the range, right? Again, zoom out. We've just had a huge down move here, right? I'm more interested in looking for longs here than I am looking to short into the bottom of the range. If I pull out my trusty fib, right, we take it from here to here. I mean, that wick kind of throws it off. But again, look at the 79% retracement right at the bottom of the range. If I want to take a fib from here to here, look at where the 6.2 is, right into that area where we're looking to get, big bully here. This would be a 50%. So it's already retraced quite deep, this range. So I'm looking to get long and start being very big bull on Ethereum coming into this area here. And already, it's stabbed right into the middle of this zone. Did you have any dreams that came true after you started successfully trading and gaining money? Most people start for the money, then leave when they lose instead. So I'm a big proponent and believer in the law of attraction, in journaling, in manifesting, and speaking affirmations and shit like that. So absolutely, right? I mean, I write down most of the good shit that I have in my life. At some point, I'd written down in my journal. And then it's come to fruition after that. So I'm a huge believer in that kind of stuff. And that goes for life in general, and it absolutely goes for your trading. Like if you're not writing down financial goals you have, how much money you want to make when you're trading, how many, what your goals are in terms of quantifiable metrics as well as kind of intangible, non-quantifiable stuff. I'm all about writing that shit down. Because once you write it down, you speak it into existence, and then obviously you put in the work, right? Everyone's like, oh, law of attraction. You can't just be like, I attract wealth and then expect to get wealthy. It still requires the work, right? But you put the goal out there in the universe, you write down the steps that you think you need to do to get there, and then, it becomes more manageable, and next thing you know, you're fucking there. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm financially free. I don't work for anyone. I'll have to answer to anyone. So, that's a fucking dream. Yo, what up, Levels? How do you say your name? Is it Levels or is your name Lee and it's Levels and it's a clever play on words? What is your most favorite thing to trade? FX, crypto, stock, whatever. But if you had to choose one, what pair would it be? If I had to choose one pair that I'm the best at trading at, it's probably gold. Gold is my highest hit rate pair. I've made a shit ton of money trading it. My strike rate is the highest. It's probably the one I just kind of got a good feel for the PA. But in terms of, what I've made the most money on, just buying Bitcoin. No trade I've taken has ever made me more money than just being an owner of Bitcoin. What about the weekly OB where you just do the low? What if it goes above it? Lower sweeps invalidated. I just answered. Time flies. Time does fly, man. Speaking of, we're at about an hour. So does anyone have any quick questions? Anything they want me to ask? I'm gonna wrap. These were supposed to only be 30 minutes, but I can't help myself. I love to talk. All right, guys, gonna give it the final roll call here. If you have any questions, anything like that. Otherwise, I'll be back at some point this week with another stream. Levels. That's what I thought. Do you have a strategy for buying and holding Bitcoin long term? Yeah, I buy it on big dips and I sell it on rips. Buy low, sell high. No, so I mean, anytime Bitcoin is going vertical, kind of like it has been recently, I'll usually start selling some. And anytime if we're in a bull trend that we get like a 20 or 30% pullback, I'll add, right? When we're in a bear trend, anytime we get a 20 or 30% pump, I'll sell. And that's kind of the move. Like I said before, on the all-time high in 2017, I didn't sell any Bitcoin at 20K, right? I started selling above 10K. And then, so, same thing will go here. Once we're closing through 20K and we're going up, I'm going to be selling on the way up, right? The smart money is selling. Smart money is selling on the way up, right? They're not selling here, getting out of their bags. They're selling on the way up into here, right? So try and think like that, right? You want to just take profits, have predetermined levels in your mind. If Bitcoin hits 25K, sell some, right? If it hits 30K, know these in advance. So when it actually happens, you're not euphoric and being like, oh my God, it's going to 1 million, right? But it can go very high. So not saying sell it, you don't want to sell it too early, but it's impossible to know. So the way I see it is when it's vertical, take some off the table, right? Vertical, start taking some off the table. And then, big dips, you buy some, right? Big dips, you buy some. Because let's say you bought some Bitcoin here and you sold some, here, sold some here, right? And then you bought some here, you bought some here, then you bought some here. Like, these buys are underwater for a bit, but look where we are now, right? And your average buy here, probably right around like 6K. That's pretty fucking good. So, or you could have just held this entire time. I don't know, right? But I usually sell when we're going vertical, and then any sort of like major double-digit correction, 15, 20, 30%, I start buying back. What are you watching in FX this week? I'm watching for weakness on the dollar. So if we get weakness on the dollar, which is kind of what we're seeing here, weakness on the dollar, I'm looking to long gold, long silver, long EU, long GU. Best tip you have for right now, fucking enjoy the ride, man. This is what, if you've been here for the last 3 years suffering through the bear market, take all those things you've learned, all those skills and stuff, and, try and do better this time in this bull run, right? Because it could be years before we start seeing a run like this again. So take advantage of it. There's a ton of opportunity out there. Be smart. Don't risk more than you're willing to lose. Thank you. All clear. Thanks, Wasik. Yo, first time coming across you, and you're really down to earth and chill. Thanks for the info. Thanks, Minky. That's very nice of you to say. All right, guys. Super fun stream. I'll be back again sometime this week with another video. If you got any questions, hit me up. Join the Discord. There's a link in one of my old YouTube videos from like 2 or 3 videos ago where I have a link for the Discord. Join it up. Come hang out. You can ask me questions in there. And otherwise, I'll see you guys soon.